In Lesson 9.1, you created a website where users can log in with a username and password. This is called Forms Authentication. Forms Authentication is perfect for websites on the Internet, but it can be cumbersome if you're making a site that is only going to be used on an internal network. This is known as an intranet site. You can use Windows authentication to allow your site to automatically recognize the user by their Windows username and password when used on an internal network. This saves them the bother of logging in. To begin this lesson, open the My Membership sample file from your Sample Files folder. And open the ASP.NET configuration utility. We are now going to switch the authentication type to Windows. Click Security either at the top of the page or in the table, and click Select Authentication Type. Now click From a local network. This is the Windows authentication setting. Now click Done. Because you are now using Windows authentication, you will no longer be able to manage users using the ASP.NET configuration utility. You can't use both Windows and Forms authentication at the same time. Note that you will no longer be able to log in using the username and password you created earlier. Close your browser now. We are now going to test the new authentication method. View default.aspx in your browser. In the top right corner, you can see your Windows username. The new authentication method has automatically authenticated you without requiring you to log in. Note that if you're using a browser other than Internet Explorer, it's possible that instead of your Windows credentials being automatically detected, you will be presented with a login prompt. Unfortunately, Windows authentication is only designed to work with Internet Explorer. It will still work on other browsers, but you will have to type in your Windows username and password when prompted. Close your web browser now. We are now going to switch back to Forms authentication, so open the ASP.NET configuration utility. Now click Security, select Authentication Type, and switch back to From the Internet. Now click Done. As you can see, the options to create and manage your Forms users are now available again, and the existing user has reappeared. Close the ASP.NET configuration utility now. Note that when you change the authentication mode in the ASP.NET configuration utility, it actually changed a setting in web.config. You could change between authentication modes manually by opening web.config and changing between authentication mode equals Forms and authentication mode equals Windows. Also note that although Forms authentication is the preferred form of authentication on the Internet, it's still possible to use Windows authentication on Internet sites. If you use Windows authentication on an Internet site, as opposed to an intranet site, visitors will be prompted to log in when they first attempt to access any page on the site. A visitor to a site using Windows authentication will have to provide a valid Windows username and password for the network the site is hosted on. Using Windows authentication on the Internet is generally not a good idea. Close Visual Studio now. You've now completed Lesson 9.3, Change Authentication Types.